Well, here I am on YouTube. There's so much more that I want to do here, but I was getting tired of making excuses for myself. So today's episode of 5 Minute Friday on Hurdle, my podcast, is the first thing coming down the pipe from Hurdle on YouTube. I'm working on a whole thing. I mean, I'm sure there are so many YouTubers that you follow and they have what they call a bumper plate. I'm learning the lingo, like a bumper at the beginning, and there's all these buttons and different things that you need to make happen. I don't necessarily know how to make any of those things happen yet, so we will get there. But for now, I start with 5 Minute Friday. You are listening to 5 Minute Friday on Hurdle. Emily here. Hello. This week has been a week. Let me tell you. So I mentioned last week that I am producing this special series for Coach Bennett, Nike's global running head coach, on his podcast. In celebration of their After Dark series, they are chatting with a slew of women from all around the world. And so that has been really fun because I am truly connecting with women all around the world. I am Oz in this equation, mostly completely behind the curtain. And so it's been really cool getting to flex a new muscle, so to speak, in that I've been working on my own. Gosh, 9 years, 10 years now, I have been my own boss, and I'm still my own boss. Don't get it twisted, but this is the closest that I've come in a long time to working in-house, constantly communicating with different team members and obviously chatting a lot with Coach B. And so it feels really fun to be a part of a team, and it's a big project. And so I'm still doing all the other things that I want to do. I'm still obviously out here editing, producing, booking, recording, being hyped about Hurdle. It's my baby and it's not going anywhere. And it's a lot. There's a lot of balls in the air. It's what I'm trying to say, which is why it almost feels there's two things that I'm noticing right now. The first thing that I'm noticing is that I am more dialed in than ever. I am someone who loves a timed to-do list. If I am feeling extremely overwhelmed, not only will I make a to-do list, but the next thing that I will do is then I will make it a schedule. So if on your daily to-do list, for example, it is for me, produce podcast episode, sit in on recording, write a newsletter. Maybe I have 2 to 3 different meetings. Then it's draft proposal for this brand to do this thing. You get the gist. I would then give each of those things an estimated time that it could take to complete and then schedule them in my day. And then that way I'm holding myself accountable. I think by also recording on YouTube, I'm going to notice how much I move my hands when I talk. I digress. So I actually think that being this busy and being excited about all the things that I'm so busy with is really fulfilling me, and it's helping me be more productive. I really feel like I'm my best employee right now. And the other thing is that I feel like I need to be, doing as good as I can in each of those blocks. Now, I every single day will say consistency over perfection, and I truly believe that. But I also know how important so many of the things that are a part of my routine are to help me feel like my best self. And so, for instance, it's story time. This morning, I had a run workout. It was a mile warm up, a K at 7:45 pace, a K at 7:15 pace, directly into another K at 7:45 pace, one more K at 7:15 pace, 90-second recovery, 1 mile cool down. And so that was the workout. And if you are in New York and the Northeast, maybe you know what's going on, but there's a lot of smoke coming down from those Canadian wildfires. And so the AQI this morning, the air quality was, I think, something around 140, which I checked with my girl Gemini. She said it's very dangerous out there. And I remember distinctly when we had all of those air issues a few years ago that for me, it wouldn't be in the moment that maybe running didn't feel okay, but then days later, I would be coughing. And so I knew from walking outside last night. I mean, I walked outside to go to the live show that I did with Bex Gentry at Rivian. That episode will be live on the Hurdle feed next week. I walked outside and it literally felt like I walked into a cloud of no bueno, not good. And so I knew I was going to do this workout on the treadmill and I was dreading it. Thankfully, so far in this training cycle, I've done so much of my running, if not a majority of it, outside. But running tempo, running fast is always challenging, period. And I would argue it's even more challenging on a tread because you have less to distract yourself. Although you can get into this mode where it's like set it and forget it, I just knew that it was going to require me to be really mentally dialed in. And so I walked into the gym and I, put my hair up and I got my act together. And I just said, this is how it is now. And something that I was repeating to myself this morning as I showed up to do this workout is I am someone that does hard things. That was it. I just kept saying to myself, I am someone who does hard things. I know that to be true. I have evidence to prove that. I am someone who's run 15 marathons. You don't do a marathon because you're not someone that knows and accepts and appreciates doing hard things. And so I showed up this morning and I kept repeating to myself, I am someone that does hard things. And I did the hard thing. And I felt really proud of myself after. And this goes back to what I was saying about it's a busy season and I'm showing up with diligence and consistency and understanding that sometimes it's not going to be the absolute best that I have to offer. But today not only was the absolute best that I had to offer the prescribed situation, but it made me feel really good. And so I recognize that it won't always be that. And I get really stoked when I can check something off in the way that I intended. And that is the 5-Minute Friday this week. My listener prompt for you this week, if you're watching this on YouTube, which it'll be wild if you are. And I won't say that in every episode, but right now I feel like I need to tie it all together. I will also put a link to subscribe to the show on YouTube and then to the YouTube in the show notes if you were listening to this. My listener prompt for you this week: where in your life can you give yourself a little bit more grace? Where in your life right now can you give yourself a little bit more grace? And now, a listener question. Hey, Emily, my name is Jamie. I've been listening to Hurdle since 2022 or 2023. I love the podcast. Thank you. I was wondering if you could go back to your first marathon. What would you do differently? And what advice would you tell someone training for their first marathon? I'm training for my first marathon. And, oh, wow. I'm training for my first marathon. I'm going to cut and donate 26 inches of hair for each mile I ran. I had to read that twice. I was a little confused. That's so awesome, Jamie. Congrats. Okay, so the question is, if I could go back to my first marathon, what would I do differently? And what advice would I tell someone training for theirs? The first thing I will say is right now we are overexposed, I would argue, to so much information and so many different opinions. And there are so many things that you could be doing, quote unquote, right while gearing up for your first marathon. I truly believe that the biggest rule of running your first marathon, well, there's two. The first rule is you might have like a quasi time goal, but that first marathon isn't about your time. That first marathon is strictly about finishing it, putting your best effort in on the day. Okay. My second rule is you have to train for it. So you do say that you're training for it, Jamie, which makes me very happy. But please, 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 it is a buzzy thing right now. Running is wildly popular. My biggest piece of advice for anyone gearing up for their first marathon is actually put in the work. Ask yourself, why is it that I'm doing it? I love it that Jamie has this goal to donate hair as a part of her process. That's so special. And I also hope that Jamie is enjoying the journey, because with marathon training, as with many other things in life that we do that are hard things, the journey really is the destination. And you need to find the fun, especially in something that has such a massive opportunity cost. So training for your first marathon, actually do the training. And the second thing is no time goal. Go out there, do the best you can with what you have a good time, and be proud of yourself because it's a hard thing. Whew. Make sure you're following along with Hurdle over on Instagram. It's over at Hurdle Podcast. I'm over at Emily Abadi. Another hurdle conquered. Catch you guys next time.